All right, good morning. Richard Nikoley here. Sun's coming up. In fact, sunrise right now. Exactly, 6:45 a.m. I'm making this video because this is the 6-month anniversary of dumping the booze. So I did, the history is August 7th, February 7th. I quit like that, haven't had one since, and the best part of it is it was easy this time. Easy. Still was easy to start with, and still easy. And I have a whole series of posts and videos explaining why that is. Pretty much narrowed it down. But it's always easy, and it continues to be easy, and I don't see that changing. And it's a permanent change. It's not that, it's like, could I, just do it in moderation? Maybe, but maybe not. And that risk is too much. Well, couldn't I just, start over again? Yeah. That would, why? What do I have to gain? What would I have to gain from that? There is, if you're honest with yourself, yes, there is. So it goes like this. If you stop, and you stop permanently, and you never have another alcohol drink, do you regret that? Do you regret doing that? No, not me. I doubt anybody. Did anybody ever regret it? What you might regret, what you might do is confuse regrets over the fun you used to have. And admittedly, there were lots of times where you got it just right, where you got the level of inebriation just right, and your frequency was right too, not too often. Not too much and not too often. The too often is typically how it starts. So it's too often, and then the too much each time. Right? Everybody drinks too much every now and then. Every drinker almost drinks too much every once in a while. Right? When you do that too often, that's the problem. So it's a combination: too much, too often. So I have this series of how it was easy this time. All the links will be in the description of this video. There'll be an accompanying blog post at freetheanimal.com. And it's going to be short. I mean, this is 6 months. So what I did was the first week, it was basically a daily update, and then every week for a while, and then the 1 month point, and then the 3 month point. And so now this is the 6 month point. The next one, unless something earth-shattering happens, the next one will be at a year. And then I will feel to have done it long enough to have the credibility to put it out in a book that people would pay for. Not a long book, the elements, the basics, right? Just my easy way. Not the easy way, my easy way. There's a side thing, a little thing. I'll get to that first, and I've stopped. I don't talk about it. At first, it's kind of exciting, and you're doing it, and it's like, oh, this is great. And so, when I would go to bars initially, because I wanted to have a situation where I'm not missing out on the socializing. Well, you are a little bit if you're not getting drunk with your friends. If you're sitting there drinking a soda or a soda water or something. But I don't do that hardly at all. I mean, I went to a party at a bar I used to go to, and I think it's the first time I've been there in over a month. And before that, I would only go because Anita does a great breakfast every morning for 150 baht. But to the subject, I don't talk about it anymore. There's some people I know who know, and so I'll say, yeah, I'm still going, but I don't talk to, especially to strangers, because I'm tired of getting into. I remember one thing with this guy and telling him, he's like, oh, good, and everything's initial, and then he's like, well, how much, and da da da. I said, gave him detail. After I told him, I was drinking too much too often. 40 years of drinking, the last 20 increasingly too much too often. That's the behavior. That's the behavior, right? So he's like, oh, wow, you're an alcoholic then. And I'm like, is your need to put a label on me and insult me, because I haven't used that term, nor do I describe myself with that term, is your need, is it like, do you somehow feel inferior to me, right, just sitting here, right? Are you projecting your own inadequacies or something? Or you just need to feel like something, whatever? So I just stay off the subject. And fuck off, cunt. Yeah. Anyway, the big thing, I think, over 6 months, and I thought about how to put this. I said, I think people who drink regular, so everybody knows that when you're inebriated to a certain extent, your emotionalism, and typically expressed as anger, right? But it's, it's one side or the other, either anger or overly, weepy bullshit. So one or the other, but typically more often it's anger, right? And you blow up, and but what I've found is that I think regular alcohol consumption increases your baseline propensity to emotional anger or emotional weepiness, right? And it takes time for that to come down to where you get angry a lot less often, just on, little shit doesn't bother you, right? And or relationship issues don't bother you, like with the girlfriend, I always telling her, I say, I'm not angry, it's just information, right? I'm just cataloging the information, right? So better be careful, because I have a good memory and a long memory. So that is, that's the big thing, and it's enjoyable to, it's a sort of, I've always been aware of this term, so there's a lot of guys into this thing like stoic and stoicism, but so often these guys, I had an interaction a year or so ago with this guy, Ryan Halliday or something. He has a bookstore in Texas in a little town, but and he does a good newsletter like once a month about the books that he recommends. He's a voracious reader, and it was his dream to have a indie bookstore, which he like a Main Street storefront bookstore. Perfect. Really happy for the guy in those terms, right? Really. But it was during COVID, and he was like, he had some blurb about a customer being unhappy with their mask policy, right? But the backstory is that he has this list of books about stoicism, right? And stoicism basically is kind of like you don't let shit bother. Like I was just talking about, you don't let shit bother you, right? Even if it does anger you, you don't show it. You keep it in. I've never really studied it. That's just my sense of the gist of it, or gist of it. English people are always trying to, it's gist. I said, no, it's gist. One of those things. Anyway, and he has these posts where it's like these 20 things. And I was talking to a friend of mine over email who's a mutual fan of this Halliday guy. And so anyway, I had responded to Halliday's blurb about the mask thing. I don't know what I said, but he came back. He's like, well, something about if you care about other people. And he kind of went off on me. And I forwarded this to my friend who's a mutual fan of Halliday. And he's like, he just violated all 20 or whatever, or at least 18 of the 20, principles of Stoicism or something like that. So it's really funny, these guys who, it's like, why are you always talking about Stoicism? Isn't that kind of, to me, it's kind of like, it's not something you talk about, it's just something you do, right? So I suppose I'm more stoic. So that's all I'm going to talk about it. But anger control or reduction, or letting it roll off your back is just a good policy, no matter what you call it. If you want to put a label on it, we're so obsessed with labels. I'm a stoic. Okay, you're a stoic. What's the actual behavior? Well, I don't get angry as often, and if I do, I try to control it and not go off, and so on and so forth. Good, now I understand perfectly, right? Because somebody else who calls themselves a stoic, might describe the behavior a little bit differently. Those nuances might be important. So, and another problem with labels is that they don't mean the same things to all people, right? It's like a package deal, right? So I'm this or you're that. And so that's intended to explain what you are and who you are and how you behave, and it is always 100% fucking wrong. It's just fucking wrong, and it's stupid. Stop being wrong and stupid. No anger there. It's just it's an imperative. It's an admonition. Anyway, I'm having a good life. Update-wise, I've given notice. I will be moving out of Hawaii, the place I have lauded and celebrated for 2 years. I've been here for just over 2 years. I moved here on the 1st of January, 2021. And so I've been here just over 2 years. It'll come to 2 years and 2 months, but I'm moving back to Pattaya, or I'm actually considering moving to Bangkok, which is only 2 hours from Pattaya. But the Bangkok is, I was talking to a German friend of mine, next door neighbor, last night. He says, yeah, I've stayed a few months in Bangkok here and there. He's been coming to Thailand since '94. And he says you could have 2 lifetimes and not see all of Bangkok. He said, yeah. He said, I have some sources. It's like 100 things to do in Bangkok. Well, if you do one, and they're important things. If you do one every week, that's going to take you 2 years right there just to get to somebody's list of the 100 best things. Right? That's not to. I mean, there's any number of sources of like, oh, this restaurant is great. This lady makes the best roti in all of Bangkok. All this stuff that you have no end of things to do. And if you get your living right, you can, number one, get an inexpensive studio in the neighborhood of about $150 a month. And it's in walking distance of 1,000 things you would want to do. I've never lived in a dense urban environment. So that is a possibility. On the other hand, I can get and I would be on the opposite end of Pattaya. Before I was in Jomtien, which is south of Pattaya Beach. It's the next beach south. And this time I would be up in Naklua area, which is the north part of from the beach. You don't want to be in the beach area or eastward of that. That's where all the jumble is. But so up there in Naklua, it's fairly nice. I explored it a bit when I lived in Jomtien. So maybe get a place there, and then I can go up to Bangkok anytime I want. Spend a week, spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, it's kind of like, it's kind of like, where do I want to establish a base? Rawai has just become a little bit boring to me. And especially, I didn't mention this, but I've been up since 3:30 a.m. So my routine now, this routine is I'm typically in bed by between 9 and 10 and up between 3 and 4 every morning. And I get up just raring to go. That's another big advantage of not drinking and never having a hangover. Right? So, hey, if you like it and you control it well and everything, more power to you. No, I'm not saying you should do this. It's my way, my story, my path, everything. If it appeals to you, I can help, right? I do have one-on-one available. Some people have taken advantage of that for different things. I am highly varied in what I know, how much I know about a lot of different things. It's called an autodidactic polymath. That means a self-taught guy who knows a shit ton, who knows a lot about a lot of things. That's me. All right. Dot connector, synthesizer. Yeah. I just turned 62 a week ago. And Social Security is all set up. First starts rolling in on March 3. Now, how much? 1,571 per month. 1,571 per month, which comes to just about 52,000 baht. My apartment rent right now is 3,500 baht. Right? Geoarbitrage, people. Keep telling you. I can eat for 200 baht a day. Easy. Good. You look at my photos. So there is 200 baht. You know, that's another few $100 a month. Right? So raw living, gas in my motorcycle. Raw living is, I can do easily, just the raw living, I can do easy for under $500 a month. That leaves me $1,000 to travel, save, do what I want, right? How many people do you know? It's like, oh, I'm on a fixed income, Social Security, it's so little. Like, get your ass out of the fucking United States. Duh. Why can't my family? How old are you? How do you owe? I mean, I'm not against family, but you have your life too, right? So, at a point, you know, your own family has to say, look, you know, he's done the family thing for 60 fucking years. It's time to let him go. Thank you very much. I love you all, but okay, can I ramble about anything else? Probably lost a lot of you by now. Anyway, so and you know, average income on I'm this 1571. So let's call it $1,600, and then the blog is building up to well, the last few months of the year was an average run rate of 2,000 a month of you know, recurring and new business combined. So I'm really fucking set. I mean, in a big, big, big way. And what do I have to do? I have to get up and write, and then check out the post about the new business I'm starting, construction and development company. This is the shit, folks. All right, Richard Nikoley signing out.